You got to love the GOP. You got to love the Republicans. They love freedom so much, they're hoarding all of it for themselves. They love the cops, so long as the cops are cracking the skulls and shooting the backs of unarmed black men. But if you come after the richest 1%, or their ignorant flunkies storming the Capitol, then it's the deep, dark state impinging on our freedom. We must protect freedom of speech as long as it's the right to say the N-word or storm the Capitol. Even storming the Capitol is now being called, the Republicans are calling storming the Capitol, I'm not making this up, engaging in legitimate political discourse. That is what the GOP said the storming of the Capitol was. It was engaging in quote unquote legitimate political discourse. Guns, handcuffs, pepper spray, smearing feces on statues and sending hundreds of cops to the hospital. That's now legitimate political discourse because the GOP loves freedom of speech. They can't get enough of freedom of speech, except when it comes to teachers being allowed to teach our children about homosexuality or evolution or the Middle Passage. The right wing, the conservatives, believe in the freedom of speech that's guaranteed to all of us, unless you want to say the earth is more than 5,000 years old, or that people are born gay, or that Rosa Parks is an American hero, or that the South seceded because they wanted to keep slavery. That kind of speech, that's verboten. They're passing laws now in Florida to forbid the teaching that homosexuality, you're born a homosexual. You can't teach critical race theory. That freedom of speech, that's verboten. But the right to say the N-word or the right to storm the Capitol and threaten to kill Nancy Pelosi, that's participating in legitimate political discourse. Now, look, freedom of speech has been my lifeblood since I've been 22. As a comedian, as a comedy writer, I have been playing with words and politics since I was 22. Without freedom of speech, I am nothing. Well, I'm still nothing. With freedom of speech, I'm nothing. I'm just nothing. But I need freedom of speech. I wouldn't be able to do this nonsense without freedom of speech. So I don't appreciate freedom of speech getting hijacked by right-wing trolls who hide behind the First Amendment to spread lies and hatred. Lies and hatred in America are protected until they become a danger to the community. You cannot hide behind freedom of speech if you are a danger to the community, because community comes first. Community comes first. We have a Federal Trade Commission, an FTC, that prohibits advertisers from lying about their products. Lying about your product is not protected by the First Amendment. We have a Food and Drug Administration that forbids snake oil salesmen from selling you drugs, prescriptions that will kill you. We have a FDA that forbids you from telling your patients to use, I don't know, a horse dewormer to kill COVID. We have an FCC that was set up by a Republican named Herbert Hoover, an FCC that prohibits people from going on television and radio and promoting miracle cures like ivermectin. That's what the FCC is there for, to protect the airwaves from fraudsters who will get you killed. That's not a First Amendment right. These are laws that came to us from Republicans like Herbert Hoover or Teddy Roosevelt, who knew that while people should be allowed to say anything, they are not allowed to promote phony medical ideas that will get you killed. That's not censorship. You can't advertise that my brand of cigarettes won't give you lung cancer. It's against the law. That's not a freedom of speech issue. That's not a violation of the First Amendment. Your government is there to protect you so charlatans don't sell you tobacco that they claim won't kill you. The well-being of the community comes first. You cannot tell people to attack somebody. You can't stand in the ellipse outside the White House and tell thousands of Neanderthals to storm the Capitol. That's criminal conspiracy. It's incendiary. You can't tell people to take arms against your government. That's treason. That's you can't organize groups of people to kidnap a governor. That's not protected by the First Amendment. You can't order someone to kill someone. That's not freedom of speech. That's our drone program in the Pentagon. If you work for a corporation, you can't hand over inside information to an investor. Telling someone that your company is about to beat estimates on the street and that you should go long on this stock, that's inside information. That's not protected by freedom of speech. Yes, freedom is important, but in America, it is not the number one priority. The safety of our community comes first. The safety of our community comes first, and that goes all the way back to our founding document, the Constitution. The safety of the community comes first before freedom. I am not allowed to give Alex Jones's home address out and tell people how to kidnap him. Not all speech is protected. The community comes first. The community comes first. When you kill someone while screaming the N-word, that is worse than just killing them. That is hate speech. And hate speech in some states is considered terrorism. When you explicitly kill someone because they are Black or Mexican or LGBTQ, that speech is terrorism, and it poses a threat to the entire community. And that's why a hate crime is worse than just a general crime. It's why we have hate crimes in some states. A hate crime can only be judged a hate crime by what you said in the lead up to that crime. What you say before you commit any crime determines whether you're charged with first degree, second degree murder, or manslaughter. They don't know what kind of murder you committed until they get the mens rea to figure out what your intent was. And the only way to figure out your intent is to find out what you said before you committed the crime. What you say before you commit a crime is not protected speech. Now, the community comes first, and our founding fathers got that. Please pay attention to this. Our founding fathers wrote the Constitution. The Constitution is what every elected official swears an oath on, to uphold the Constitution. It is the law of the land. All laws flow from the Constitution. Okay? The opening lines to the Constitution, right? You're opening, you got to open big. That's really important. The opening lines are the priorities of our founding fathers. You state up front what you prioritize. They are, and I quote, "We the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, to ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. Okay? This is the top priorities of our founding fathers. We, the people, to form what? A more perfect union. That is their first objective. The first thing our founding fathers believed, it was the goal of this nation to create a more perfect union, a community, to create a more perfect community. Our founding fathers believed that what is first and foremost is figuring out a way for all of us to get along. That means something resembling a republic or a democracy, because you can't have a more perfect union unless we have the majority of the people in the community setting the agenda. Okay, that's first. Community. What is best for the community, right? Second, to establish justice. That's what the opening lines say, is to establish justice. Those are the exact words. Establish justice. Because without justice, without fairness, we can't get along. And if we can't get along, we lose the number one priority of our founding fathers, a more perfect union, right? The community. Number one is a community. Number two is justice. Without laws that are fair for everyone, the nation becomes less perfect, okay? What is third? Promote the general welfare of the people. Welfare. Welfare. Those are the top three priorities of our founding fathers. It's in the Constitution. First, unity, community. Then comes justice, because you can't have community without fairness. And then comes welfare, taking care of each other. This is Old Testament wandering in the desert for 40 years stuff. This is Mosaic law. Okay? How do we get along? How do we be fair to one another? How do we provide welfare for those of us who need help? Okay? This is Old Testament Mosaic law. And then, and only then, comes number 4, quote, the blessings of liberty, unquote. Liberty, 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 freedom comes fourth. The right wing wants you to believe otherwise. The right wing has moved liberty to the front of the line. You ask any idiot on the right, they will tell you the Constitution is about liberty. It's about freedom. The Constitution is not about liberty or freedom. It's about the loss of liberty. It's about the loss of freedom. The Constitution tells us specifically what freedoms we are entitled to and which ones we are not. The reasons we have this Constitution is to limit people's freedom. We have a Constitution. We have laws to make sure my idea of freedom is protected from your idea of freedom. But the right wing, these ignoramuses, they twist freedom. They use it as a cudgel to crush the three other things our founding fathers cherished more: community, justice, and welfare. Freedom comes fourth, because you can't have freedom unless you have set up a society that has a community, justice, and welfare.